Great, sweet. Elliot?
Leon, it was ugly, but it is a case of a win's a win.
Yeah. It was ugly in the sense that we probably left a couple of tries out there. I thought in the first half, discipline was just keeping the Highlanders in the game a little bit. We had some good pressure on them, and but in the second half we sort of went to that scrum fest, and the sort of the game lost its shape after that, and it went messy and scrappy, and I think our guys probably looked a little bit frustrated out there and probably started to lose a little bit of our patience on attack, and and we ended up stumbling home. So a little bit frustrating, but a win's a win. They had everything to play for, and they're always going to come here and give everything they had, and they showed that they did that tonight.
Dalton, what were you seeing out there as the scrums and resets kept following up?
Yeah, our whole mindset, and even talking to the props and the hookers, they're the big boys doing the job up front. So I was talking to them, and we felt like we actually were getting one over them. I felt like we were dominant in the area, but it's just those little moments where we did to get that yellow, and then they brought a fresh prop on, and and then they get the penalty. It's those little moments that we need to probably need to execute. Those are those important moments that we need to bring the boys in just before the scrum and say, hey, this is an important moment. We need to nail this. And I feel like that was sort of a flow-on effect after in the second half, and there was moments that we missed, and it was just a bit frustrating. But good thing is going into next week is that we're going to have a whole new fresh week where we can talk about that, and especially the leaders and how we can actually be better in those moments.
Leon, does a win like that steal you for next week, and there's no bonus points, or it doesn't matter how many tries you score next week as long as you get the win?
Yeah, look, we're at that part of the season now where it's all about winning rugby, and the Highlanders come back at the end there and put us under pressure on the line and had scrum penalties, and we're under warning, and we scrambled out really well and showed some good discipline, and then we ended up getting down the other end and could have scored. I'm not quite sure why we didn't, but I have a look at that. But so we did grab some key moments as well, but we missed plenty, and probably just thought, in the first half I thought the interplay between our backs and forwards was really good at times. Some of the ball carries from big men like Nepo and Offa on the back of some good play where we got the ball to space on the edges was as good as we've done all year. But just our ability to finish off, and we got over trial line a couple of times, and they got wiped, and that probably just stopped that gap from getting big enough for us to really, probably play with a bit more freedom, and they were in the fight, which they wanted to be.
Leo, when you review, do you think you'll probably look at those scrums as perhaps being too one-dimensional, and that you're always on the attack in the power phase, but you never really cleared any good quality ball off it?
Yeah, we went down that road. We were committed to it, and I think once you've decided to go down that road, we were going to stay there. Whether the opportunity to play off it was there, we'll look at that. You speak to the front rowers, and they always think they've got dominance. Every time you ask them, they're dominant in their mind. So, I suppose that's for the game drivers to make those decisions. And there'll be some learnings in there for us. Moving forward into the playoffs, we might not have the luxury of the scrum dominance, so we need to make sure we're loaded up, ready to attack off it.
Dalton, a lot of penalties in the game, I think 30. What was the communication like out there between yourself and the referee? Were you happy with that?
There were moments that I agreed and disagreed with his calls, but I think that's just accepting. He's the law out there. Whatever he says goes, and it's just establishing that good communication with him. So to be honest, whatever he says goes. So you've just got to go with it. But it's just me telling him, my thoughts and what I'm seeing, and if he's seeing different pictures or seeing the same pictures. So there was a lot of penalties. But it was for and against us, so it was pretty. I'm not too sure what the count was for both sides, but I felt like it was pretty even.
And a couple scrubbed out by the TMO as well. How did it feel? Did that kind of change your momentum a little bit?
Yeah, I think it did. I felt like we got over the try line a couple of times, and like Leon said, they were wiped, and sometimes that's a bit demoralising. Then you got to think, go again, and you think next job. But after a while, we missed a few opportunities. It stays in the back of the mind. But as leaders, it's good that I know boys around me help me out a lot out there. So, yeah.
Something like the Warren players down, you happy about that?
Yeah, absolutely. At the start of the year, if you see we had a home quarter, they're fantastic. And like I said, the scoreboard probably didn't quite wasn't quite what we wanted, but I think parts of our game that we've been working on we saw today. I thought we closed out the first half, which has been an issue for us, a lot better this week. So there was some real growth from our leaders and game drivers to make sure that we finished the half strong. And I just thought we had, when we were able to use the ball, we had good balance between taking the ball to the edges and being really physical and direct. So along with some good smart kicking at times as well. So there was a lot there to like. It's just those the last 5 metres at times for us wasn't quite where it needed to be. But we can work on that as well.
It's a bit of a contrast, and if you look back to last year, and you sort of sashayed into the knockout rounds on that win streak. This year, I think you've won 7 of your last 8, but it's been a bit patchier. How do you feel you enter knockout phase?
Yeah, it hasn't been all the way we wanted. Absolutely. Probably a little bit of lack of cohesion, being able to select. We've had a lot of injuries and changes of team and etc. And that just probably cohesion at times wasn't there. But I thought we were pretty good today. We had to make some late changes with Brycey pulling out late, and I thought Stevie come in late notice and did a good job. And he's sort of come back from injury. We've got Bowden to come back in next week, which will be great, obviously, and Brycey to come back. So. We're sitting, although the games haven't been perfect, we're in a good position, with pretty much a full squad to pick from.
Talking about peaking at the right time of year, not you specifically, but that sort of theme, how much better do you think you'll have to be come playoff time?
Well, we've just got to make sure we're better than opposition, really. Do we have to be a lot better than we were tonight? I thought we created a lot of pressure and they hung in, but yeah, we do. I think we will be frustrated with parts of our game, no doubt. But we're getting the job done. We're winning, and that's the main thing in this game, is winning rugby games. And like I said, there's a lot of parts of the game that we can be really happy with and excited about.
Dulce, you talked on Wednesday about wanting a complete performance. How do you feel you go into the quarters?
I think we both touched on it. There wasn't probably a complete performance out there. There was patches that we felt like we were dominant, and then there was patches that we need to work on. But that's the good thing about having a full week next week, is that we can actually work on those areas. So, winning by 1 point, winning by 30, you can call it a complete performance or a tough game. But going into playoff mode, man, that's winning is winning. So, winning ugly, winning good, doesn't really matter. So.
He's just got a hematoma in his oversized quad, so a bit sorer than most people. Look, he's nursed that for a couple of weeks now, and it's just, I think he's getting bangs on top of them. So I don't think it's too serious.
Enough?
Cool.
Cheers, fellas.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.